Hello there, this is Sam Morton from love-the-pips.com. Welcome to my new podcast series. I'm so excited to start this series. This is something I've never done before on this YouTube channel, so I'm excited to start this podcast series. I have lots of things that I want to share with you. A few things I want to tell you before I start with this first podcast. The first thing is I want to eventually make this podcast into like a Forex show. I want to develop this podcast so it's not just you listening to me, but eventually you'll be able to see me and I'll be able to talk and discuss Forex and trading related topics, but also do some analysis, have a Q&A session and other things. I want to make it like a Forex show, sort of like an interactive show that you can watch for free on YouTube. But we're starting off with the podcast series. I'm starting off doing this first, and eventually it will grow into something much bigger and better. Each podcast will have its own theme or topic, and there's a theme and topic for this podcast. At the end of each podcast, I'll let you know the theme and topic for upcoming podcasts, because I'd like to receive your questions and your input before obviously recording the next podcast. Now, the next thing to mention really before we get started is these podcasts are not scripted. Just like a lot of my content on my YouTube channel, I'm really not one for fancy presentations and scripts. I obviously have some notes in front of me. I have some notes and I want to get some points across. I don't want to forget anything. So I do have some notes in front of me. You may hear my paper rattle and turn at points because I have points I want to get across. But these videos are never scripted. It's just not my style. I like talking. I'm a bit of a talker. Usually when I train people, one of the first things I mention is that I talk a bit too much. I can waffle on. So I do apologize for that, but it's just the way I like to do things. I like to have quite an honest and down-to-earth approach, and I feel I can give that better if I'm not reading from a script. Okay, that's everything. So let's get started with podcast number 1, which is becoming a trader. Becoming a Forex trader is not easy, and I'll come to that a bit later in this podcast. My first thought about choosing a topic for this first podcast was to do something about trading psychology, because that's what I really love talking about. And I have to be careful because sometimes I'm teaching something totally unrelated to trading psychology, and somehow I bring trading psychology into that topic. It's my favorite thing to talk about. If you've been following my blog and my YouTube channel, my website, you'll know that trading psychology is something that I do teach frequently, because it's something that 99.99% of traders have a struggle with. Even me, a full-time Forex trader, I've been trading for nearly a decade now. The emotional side of trading is still a daily challenge. Maybe not a daily challenge, but it's a frequent challenge for me. But that will be covered in a podcast at a later point. I wanted to really talk about the process of becoming a trader. Now, the process of becoming a trader is very different to what I've shared in the past about the steps to becoming a profitable trader. And if you follow my content in the past, you'll know that I generally focus on strategy and psychology. They're the two obstacles you need to overcome in order to become a profitable trader. You need to have some sort of strategy in place, and you need to stick to that strategy. Trading psychology, or the challenges of trading psychology, and trading emotion will lead you away from that strategy, and that's when you start making losses, when you start becoming emotional. So they're the two things I generally focus on. Now, the process of becoming a trader is actually very different. There are some similarities, but the process of becoming a trader is very different. If you are new to trading, or let's say you've been trading for a couple of years but haven't quite made it yet, there is a process that you have started going through, and there's a process that you will need to go through in order to become a Forex trader, or any trader, a stock trader, a commodity trader. And I really think there's two sides to this. There's the practical side, where you need to learn technical analysis. You need to learn about news events. You need to learn about Forex brokers and spreads and things like that. There's that very educational side that can be taught in a course, where you take a course, you learn about price action, you learn about indicators, you learn all sorts of strategies and things like that. That's definitely a big part of becoming a trader, is that educational side. You need to have the knowledge. You need to develop the skills. That is a big part of becoming a trader. And a lot of content online is all about that. It's all about technical analysis, fundamental analysis, what Forex is, how to trade Forex, etc., etc. That's a big part of becoming a trader. There's another part, there's another side, there's two sides to this. The other side is the self-mastery side. And this is where the psychology can come into play. Now, I don't mean trading psychology in the sense of taking a trade, becoming fearful, becoming bored, becoming greedy. I don't mean that sort of psychology. I mean the psychology of developing a habit of study. The psychology of staying motivated, keeping motivated. The psychology involved in taking the plunge, taking that step to becoming a trader. There's two sides to this, isn't there? There's the side of the education, of learning how to become a trader, what you need to do, and then there's the side of actually doing it. And I think this is the same in all areas of life. And if you're going to start a business, you need to know the know-how. You need to have the knowledge in place. If you want to become an accountant, I use that as, I'm a qualified accountant. That's what I first started doing in my early 20s. And if you want to start an accounting practice, first of all, you need to know the educational side of things. You'll need the experience, the qualifications. And then there's the other side where you need to have the confidence to do it. You need to take that step. You need to make plans and have the confidence to start the business, to step away from your job, that sort of thing. So there's two sides to anything, I think, and it's all very similar. Now let's cover both sides. Give me some time and I'll go through both sides of becoming a Forex trader. Let's start with that self-mastery sort of psychological side of things. Now, you may have heard all of this before. If you've been practicing trading for a couple of years now, it's likely you have. But please bear with me, because there will be at least one thing in this video, I guarantee, in this podcast, I guarantee there'll be one thing that will stick out to you, that will help you on your path to profitability. Now, the first thing to mention about this self-mastery side, about having the character of a Forex trader, the first thing to mention is trading is so hard. And I mentioned that a bit earlier on, and I mentioned that in a previous video, recent video I uploaded to YouTube. It's so frigging hard. Being a trader is so hard. I have done so many things in my life. I've set up businesses. I've grown up in a family with brothers, and I've got kids that, there's challenges with raising children, and I've done lots of things in my life. I feel like I'm quite an experienced person for the age I am, but nothing has compared to the difficulty of trading. What I find quite frustrating about marketing when it comes to Forex trading, especially from trading educators, is that they market trading as you sit down, you click a few buttons, and you make some money. It becomes like an ATM machine that you don't have to put a card in for. A roulette wheel that is right 90% of the time for you. But trading is just not like that. Obviously, there is some truth in that. I do sit at a computer, I do click buttons, but it's really not as easy as they market trading to be. The reality about being a trader or trying to become a trader, that process of becoming a Forex trader, is that it's full of stress, frustration, disappointment. You know, the amount of disappointment that's involved in that process of becoming a trader is phenomenal. It's really difficult at times. But there's a couple of quotes that I noted that I want to share with you. The first is, there is no overnight success. A very simple, straightforward quote. There is no overnight success. You are not going to become a trader within a week, within a month. You're not going to open a trading account and just by chance have this fantastic trade that's going to fuel the rest of your career. That just doesn't happen. I'm afraid to tell you that all success is planned. Obviously, you can have some lucky breaks. You know, some people, their first trade is a profitable trade. They might make a decent amount of money. But one profitable trade, especially in the beginning, doesn't determine a career in successful trading. All success is planned. You're not going to be an overnight success. Now, the second quote that goes hand in hand really with the first, it's a quote by from Tony Robbins, and it says, "People are rewarded in public for what they have practiced for years in private." So people are rewarded in public for what they have practiced for years in private. I'll read it a third time. People are rewarded in public for what they have practiced for years in private. Now, this is the reality of trading, but it's the reality of anything in life that's worth achieving. Anyone that's successful in business, someone that's been highly successful in their education, someone who's been highly successful in sports, the truth is there is a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that you just never see. There's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of hard work that you just don't see. Now, I don't tell you these things to put you off being a trader. I tell you these things because I want you to know that it's normal to be angry. It's normal to want to give up at times. This is the reality of trading, and it's the reality of anything in life that is worth achieving. Now, I've had contact with lots of people in the past that have tried trading, whether for a month, a year, or even 10 years, and they feel so sorry for themselves because trading hasn't worked out for them. You know, they've tried funding a live account. What a stupid thing to do when you can't make money on a demo account. I did that too in the beginning. I have sympathy, I have empathy, but you know, it's a stupid thing to do. They lose money. They can't get trading to work. They think everyone's a scam. They feel that life is being totally unfair. But, you know, boo-hoo. This is the process that everyone has to go through if they want to be successful in anything, let alone Forex trading. No one knows, really, apart from my spouse, how many hours upon hours I've had to put in over the years in order to be successful. And how many times I've had to get up after being knocked down, because this is what happens. Anything that you're pursuing in life that's worth pursuing, you're going to get knocked down. You are going to face frustration, disappointment. There are times you are going to want to give up. But if you can just get yourself back up and keep going, you'll eventually get to the destination. You'll get to the place that you want to get to. Now, this may all sound really negative. You know, I don't want to put you off trading, but I do want to let you know just how hard it is. So would I go back? You know, the last decade I've faced so much disappointment and frustration, blah, 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 blah. would I go back and choose something else? No, of course not. Because the reality is, once you've made it as a trader, you have financial freedom. I'm earning more today than I ever thought I would earn in my life. I'm financially free. I'm totally self-reliant, independent when it comes to finances. I also have the freedom of time. Like, I have to trade, obviously. I have to take some trades in order to make money. I need to be at my desk at certain times of the day. But I get to work from home. My alarm goes off. I walk downstairs, open a door. I'm at work. If I want to go out for a jog, if I want to pick the kids up from school, if I want to go for a drive somewhere, I have that freedom to do so. Now, how many people can say they have that lifestyle where they can do anything they want and they're earning 3 to 4 times more than they ever thought they would earn? Imagine your income now, if you quadrupled that and then got to work from home on, your own hours as well, it would be a dream job. And it is a dream job. That's what attracts so many people to trading. It's well worth it. And the thing is, anything worth achieving is going to be hard. If I didn't want to be a trader, I would still want to be successful, the best I can be in whatever industry. I was in accounting. If I wanted to become the best accountant or have the best accounting practice I possibly could have, I would have to go through the same process that I've been through in order to become successful in trading. There would be frustration, there'd be disappointment, there'd be times I'd want to give up. I would have lost money, I would have lost time, that sort of thing. So this is not unique to trading, it's just the process of becoming successful. Another title for this video could be the process of becoming successful rather than the process of becoming a trader. Les Brown said, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. So Les Brown said, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. And I'm a living testimony of that. My life is easy compared to many others out there, especially when it comes to finances and that freedom of time. Now, what can you do to stop yourself becoming discouraged? What can you do to stop yourself giving up? What can you do to keep motivated? Because you're going to face these challenges even when you're successful. So even though I know what I'm doing as a trader now, I still face those challenges. Especially it can be harder once you've made it, because I don't have to trade today. Because I've got the money not to do it. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. It's easy just to get complacent. And especially when things are not going the way you want them to, it's easy just to think, well, I'm going to, call it a day and stop this. So those challenges never go away. But overall, it's all worth it. And most of the time, it feels fantastic. And, it's a great thing to be in. But what can you do to keep motivated and to keep going? The first thing is to have a dream, is to have some sort of vision. You need to have an ideal in your mind that you're working toward. Now, this ideal, this dream, this vision has to be something that motivates you. It could be money. It could be that freedom, that lifestyle that I spoke about. It could just be the pride. I want to declare that I'm a Forex trader. It's a career I've always wanted, that's my dream, and it could be that pride. It could be a number of things, but whatever motivates you, that needs to be the dream. Now, the reason why you need this dream, this goal, this vision, this ideal, is that it will provide motivation. Whenever you're lacking motivation, if you just remind yourself of what your dream is, if you visualize that dream, then the motivation will soon come. And it also provides direction. If you don't have a vision, there is no direction. A ship that leaves the harbour with a destination will move in the right direction toward that destination. Whereas a ship that doesn't have a destination will have no direction. It will sail in all sorts of directions and may even end up where it started, especially when the storms come and the winds come and the waves come, because those things always come. If you have a destination, you've got direction. And this is why a vision is so important. So if your vision is that you're going to be earning £150,000 a year, £500,000 a year, remind yourself of that frequently, visualize that frequently, and the motivation will come. This is what has helped me in the past. It will also minimize distraction. So if your vision is to have this lifestyle where you can sit on the beach and trade and drink cocktails, that is fine. But if you start trading 5-minute charts, that's just never going to happen, is it? You need to have some sort of vision, and that will filter out this rubbish. You know, if your vision is to be able to sit on the beach and trade and make money, then you need to be trading in a way that allows you to do that. And trading like a 5-minute chart is not going to provide that lifestyle that you want. Now, another thing you can do is to stop over trading or stop under trading. You need to be in the market enough to be interested and to keep you engaged in trading, but you don't want to be trading too much or too little where you just become bummed out, where it becomes an emotional strain. Some people don't trade enough, so it just becomes like this hobby they do once or twice a month, and it never really crystallizes into anything. Other people trade far too much. The emotional strain is really pulling them down, and they end up giving up. This is another reason why I like trading like 1-hour charts, 4-hour charts, is it keeps me engaged. At times it can get a bit boring, I have to be honest, but I never feel like I'm over trading or under trading. Trading should be positive and fun. You know, this is a cool career to be in. It's exciting. It should be positive and fun. If you're emotionally strained, it's not going to be positive and fun. It's going to be negative and disappointing. So it might be that you have to have more realistic expectations, and that you have to have the mindset that you're going to get rich slowly. This is one thing that leads people to overtrade, is that they want to get rich quickly. You know, they're trying to triple their account this week, so they overtrade and it all just ends up in disaster. And some people undertrade purely because they don't have that vision. You know, if you have a goal to be earning £500,000 a year or $500,000 a year, and you're thinking about it frequently, you're not going to be only trading once or twice a month. That vision will motivate you to trade a bit more. Now, to go along with overtrading and undertrading, it's so important that you take breaks. I don't just mean breaks throughout the day. That really does help, but also periods of time when you don't trade. I am so more enthusiastic about trading when I've had 2 weeks off over Christmas, or when I've been in France in the beach for the whole of August. I come back fueled, ready to go. These things are important. If you're not having breaks from trading, it will emotionally become more and more difficult. So take breaks. You need to enjoy the benefits of trading. You know, for me, that's going on holiday and things like that, just as much as trading itself. Now, something else you can do is to read trading books that inspire you. So I used to read a lot of biographies and autobiographies of successful traders, and I found it so inspiring. It really gave me that motivation. It really helped my dream and vision, my confidence. Reading about other people that are successful. There could be YouTube channels. Things like this might inspire you, might make you feel a bit more motivated. If they do, they're the things you need to be doing on a regular basis. Now, I've got a list of books. What I'll do, this podcast will be posted on my website under the blog. So if you go to free stuff on my website, there's then a link to the blog. You'll see this podcast and all future podcasts on that blog. And I'll post links to trading books I recommend, biographies and autobiographies on that blog post. Another thing you can do is to get a mentor, is to get someone that's going to teach you how to become profitable. Now that in itself is obviously very beneficial, but the other reason why I mention having a mentor is that it makes you more accountable and it keeps you focused. Now, those of you that work in the same office as your boss, as your employer, when your boss is on holiday for the day, I bet you don't get as much done. When the boss is around, you're a lot more productive. Now, I'm not saying that a mentor should be a boss or should act like a boss, but what I'm saying is when there is someone around and you're accountable, you are more productive. So having a mentor, someone you're accountable to, will really keep you focused and keep you on track and help you to achieve the dream, the vision that you have for yourself. And then another thing to really mention with that is trading can be lonely at times. I think that's one of the only negatives that's unique to trading, is that it can be lonely at times. It's lonely for two reasons. One, you're on your own most of the time. Two, no one really cares or understands what you do. So you can't, go and speak to your spouse and tell them what a fantastic day the euro had today, or the pound's taken a beating, or whatever, because they're just not going to care. So it can be quite lonely at times. So that's another reason to have a mentor or be part of some sort of trading group or room, just so you have some interaction with people that have, similar beliefs and similar interests to you, and that can keep you motivated and focused as well. Okay. So I think that's enough for the self-mastery side. I've mentioned a number of things there, having a dream or vision, having breaks, being inspired by other material, having a mentor, lots of other things. Listen to this podcast again, take some notes. I really suggest you do. So how about the other side of becoming a trader? So we've talked about that psychological, that mindset sort of side. What about this practical side? Well, this podcast is going on a lot longer than I intended it to, so let's speed things up a bit. Number one, learn as much as you can for free. There's so much content online about Forex trading. Learn as much as you can for free. Now, you have to be careful because some stuff is rubbish, but when you're a beginner, a lot of the basic content is very similar. So what you can do is, go to my YouTube channel, go to my website. Actually, that's better. You can take free courses. There are other websites similar to mine. Baby Pips, I don't know what that's like nowadays, but 8-9 years ago, I spent some time on there in the beginning. Technicalforex.com is another good one. These sites offer free content that can really help you learn a lot about technical analysis, about brokers, fundamental analysis, that sort of thing. And it's all for free. There's a lot of material you can learn. There's a lot of material you can study, and it won't cost you a penny. The next thing you need to do is practice. Practice taking trades. Open a demo account with a Forex broker. Once again, I'll put a link in a blog post on my site where you can open a free account with a broker. Once again, this doesn't cost anything. You can just practice. You can see how trades are executed, how you manage trades, that sort of thing. It's not going to cost you anything. It's a great learning experience. Another thing is to study, especially if you're going to use technical analysis. I'm very reliant on price action. So study. And once again, this thing won't cost you any money. Go to TradingView. Open a free account. Their charts are fantastic. The basic account doesn't cost you a penny. Once again, I'll put a link in the blog. So you can do all these things to really gain a good foundation of trading knowledge, and it won't cost you anything. Now, the great thing about trading is in the beginning, it will not cost you anything apart from time. It then can become like this hobby where you're learning to trade and practicing taking trades. It's this fun hobby. Eventually, if you carry on, it will become a money-making hobby where you can make a bit of money on the side while working. And then if it's your goal, if this is what you want, it can become a career and provide quite a substantial income as well as a lifestyle. When you're ready to take it to that point, or if you're struggling to make money from trading as like this hobby, if you need to take trading more seriously, then the next steps really when it comes to the process of becoming a trader is developing some sort of strategy. If you don't want to develop a strategy, it's to learn a strategy from someone. You can learn my strategies on my website. Start trading with a live account. That's a great learning experience in itself, but always start small. Never invest more than you're willing to lose. In the beginning, if you put £500, $500 or £5,000, $5,000 into a trading account, you have to accept that that money is already lost. That's the mindset that you need to have. Ideally, you'll be able to work and trade at the same time, or study and trade at the same time. It's really important in the beginning that you're not reliant on trading income, because it's just far too much pressure. It's going to make those emotional challenges of trading so much harder and intense if you're relying on your trading income in the beginning. So, they're steps that you need to go through in order to become a trader. And then the last thing to mention, and I know I'm going through this a lot quicker than I did the other side, the other thing to mention is just to be patient with yourself. You're going to make mistakes. I even make mistakes now, and I've been doing this for a decade. But it's the same process as with anything. And if we were going to start a business, we would need this period of learning and education. We would eventually have to take the plunge and commit to the business full time, and it's going to involve making lots of mistakes and things like that. Trading is no different. Okay, at the end of each of these podcasts, I'm going to have a quick Q&A session. I've got 3 questions submitted to me, which I'll go through. If you want to submit questions to future podcasts, please use the comment section below on YouTube, or if you're on my website, then please drop me an email. The first question I have, what is my daily routine? I get asked this a lot. So what is my daily routine? My daily routine is actually a lot more intense than what most people think, because I have loved the pips. I also am a technical analyst for a Forex broker in Asia, and those things have their commitments. I'm doing analysis for a Forex broker throughout the day. I'm also training students and helping students by email, that sort of thing. I'm also running the trading room. So it's more intense than most Forex traders, but I start about 5 o'clock in the morning purely because I have to get the trading room up and running. I need to do my analysis and create videos for students, that sort of thing. But I start trading at 6, and then I trade 5 to 10 minutes every hour until 6 on the evening. So trading itself only takes about 5 minutes every hour once I've created my watch list for the day. But I am busy most days throughout the day because I'm training people and creating content for YouTube, and I'm doing analysis for the broker that I work for, amongst lots of other things. So I do keep myself busy. I love trading. It's my favorite thing to do. But at the age I am, I'm not ready just to trade and not do anything else. I could be working out, I guess, during the day or reading books, whatever I wanted to, but I feel that I need to, be making a name for myself, helping other people. I want to be busy. I'm still a young guy. There will be a time eventually where I will just trade, and we'll just work that 5 minutes every hour. But that time is not yet. Hopefully that answers your question. Do I trade other instruments apart from Forex? I have in the past. I do want to. This is where the whole motivation thing comes in. keeping motivated is always going to be a challenge, because even when you're successful as a trader, it's hard to keep motivation in other aspects, such as, let's start trading indices. Because if the motivation is to make money, well, I'm already making money. So what's the motivation to start trading indices or commodities? I don't know if I've explained that clearly. But I do want to start trading other instruments. I did plan a couple of years ago to start doing that. Last year I planned to do that. This year I plan to do that, but it never really crystallizes. I need a bit more oomph. I want to get my Forex trading to where it needs to be. One of my biggest goals really for this year is to have a link to my FX book account that I don't have to take down. What I've faced in the past, over the last, I think, how long have I had my FX books accounts? Probably 3 or 4 years. They eventually get taken down for a number of reasons, like I changed broker. I used to trade with Darwin X, and my accounts were verified through Darwin X. I moved over to IC Markets, and obviously with my FX book you can't link these accounts. And once the accounts are closed, then you lose the verified status on my FX book. The account always has to be open and has to be active for that verified status. And then other things. I used to have like 4 trading accounts. Then last year I consolidated to 1 single account just to simplify things. So once again, that makes results go skew with. My biggest goal really is to get an account. I'm really happy with the broker I'm with now, is to have an account that I can just keep open for the next 2 years at least. Once I've got that up and running, then I will look into indices, probably indices. Stock trading really interests me, but it won't be like day trading. It'll be more investing than trading. But, I'll keep you posted. I will eventually move into other things. Forex is always going to be my love. That's what I love doing. But indices do appeal to me. Crypto, maybe, possibly. Stocks and shares, possibly. Gold, oil, possibly. We'll just wait and see what happens. The last question: what's my number one tip for being profitable? Watch the videos on my YouTube channel and go on my website. I don't say that as a sales pitch. I say that because I know the content I've created, and all my content is created to help you become profitable and help you be successful in trading. So, just subscribe, watch all the videos, listen to this podcast series. It will all help. Okay, thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you want to ask a question for the next podcast or future podcasts, leave that below and I'll do my best to answer. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this on my website, then drop me an email. The next topic for the next podcast will be Forex brokers. Now, future podcasts, I might just bring it up on my screen. I've got all sorts of topics planned for future podcasts. Things like trading educators, trading mistakes, trading psychology, risk management, trading signals, and the list goes on and on. If you have any suggestions for topics, once again, comment below or email me. But the next topic will be Forex brokers. So if you have any input or questions, comments you want to make about that, then please do so below.